To Gprl Season 4, round number 1 today here in Silverstone. As you can see, on board with the Rebel of Moraine, I'm Alex Bomberg, and the return of Ryan, my co-commentator. How are you? Yep, Ryan had a 1 week period of nothing, let's say. So you join us here in Silverstone. Karim has been disqualified, so kicking his season off with a bang. Any idea why? I don't think that's the case. But so the tyre compounds today. Um, is it soft, medium, and then hard? Right. Okay. I was just quite. I thought the super softs were available. I saw everyone got on soft. So I was like, right. Softs are available. I saw everyone got on soft. So I was like, right. Right, I think you've still got your audio issues. Not sure why that would be. Meanwhile, Danny sets fast lap of the Grand Prix. Not for Grand Prix. Qualifying session. Felix in the Rebel. Going a little bit faster. 3 seconds faster, actually. To be. Solution. Yep, okay. I'll carry for the time being. Paddy goes P3. Not a fast lap from him, so he might have backed out. I believe that's Raul off the track to the left, struggling. Ooh, Alex in the Mercedes, Spanish Alex goes P2 on hard tyres. That's something to be noted. So just 1.2 seconds. Felix on harder tyres. Felix doing his lap, so 2 steps harder actually for Alex there, and his pace does seem almost revitalised into season 4. And he might be able to get up in the mix. Then there's the Toro Rosso of Ugaitz. I believe, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, I do apologise. Up in P3, the leading Constructors Champions, I think. Right. Got a bit of an echo. Moraine goes fastest into P1. Season 2 champion. Renault did win the constructors, thank you for that, Harrison. Yeah, Moraine fastest up in P1. A couple of tenths quicker than his Rebel teammate. Currently a Rebel 1-2 followed by the Mercedes of Alex. Again, to be noted, he is on 2 steps softer tyres. As you guys, followed by Danny. Danny and Paddy both with unrepresentative lap times, so I wouldn't count those really. Yannick in his Sauber out on the softs. Steve in the Ferrari also on the softs. Then it's Raul on mediums, followed by Hugo, who's just coming into the pits now. I believe he's aborted his lap on softs. And Jan is still in the pits, and Marcos is also yet to come out. So yeah, not a bad start for for Rebel. Obviously, Moraine stepping up from the second, in the Constructors' Championship last time. Toro Rosso up into the Big Brother team. And it's currently a Rebel 1-2-3, you could argue. And with the second Toro Rosso not competing, you'd argue it is quite competitive. Ryan, how are you doing over there? Yes.
I'm a retard.
What have you done?
Allow your voice.
You haven't selected that, have you?
No, it's on always allow. I turned it off.
Right.
Right.
So theoretically,
now,
if we start speaking, welcome Ryan.
Hello. It is good to be alive once again, and I can finally speak.
Welcome Ryan. Hello. We can hear you. Yes.
Fuck yes. The best thing that's happened in season 4 so far.
Season 4.
Can hear me.
Yeah, forget everything that's gonna happen. Welcome, Ryan. He's learned to tick a box. How are you, Ryan?
I'm good, thanks. New year, new me, you know.
All that jazz, yes. Meanwhile, as we were raving about being able to hear you, not Mason, Tyler. I do apologise if I get Mason and Tyler mixed up.
Oh yeah.
There were some issues regarding his name. But he's gone P2. That's a very competitive lap time, actually. Renault, obviously the constructors champions, and he was actually down to race in season 3, I believe. Pulled out due to not being able to make the races, but obviously he's committed a bit more, and now he's just 1/10 off pole. So Ryan, obviously, if you listen very carefully to the Abu Dhabi broadcast, we could just about hear you. But what are you expecting into this season?
Oh well, where do we start? I mean, first of all, we'll start off with all the new drivers that have come in, because it seems like we have about half a grid of new drivers.
There are a lot of.
So, obviously the big question is going to be how much an impact are they going to make on this season and the seasons going forward. Second point, well, how will the reigning champ fare against all the new talent that's come up to Gprl? There's a lot to think about going into this season.
There is, and I think
it was a very hectic season 3. So
it was, and especially thinking back to the last race, the battle between Raul and Yannick. Hopefully, those two are civil now.
Yeah, I think they were having talks after the race, and
they were.
Sort of came to an agreement.
Thankfully. Oh, talking about Yannick, P1. That's a good lap time. 26.6, 0.2 faster than Moraine. So I was literally just about to bring up the two, Yannick and Jarno, the OG pairing, if you will, of Gprl. They've been together, I believe, since season 1. I came in season 2. And these two actually, well, the Constructors' Championship was tied in season 2 between Sauber with the two of these at the top, so almost a homecoming after quite a miserable year, you'd say, at Sauber. And it's all looking to go quite well, I think. So, Moraine, obviously, Ryan, I'm not sure if you've seen the test race, because you were dead at that point.
I did, because when you did go live for the test race, that's when I realised, oh, the league race thing. I thought it was next Friday, and also that's when I decided maybe I should check WhatsApp, because surely someone has been speaking in the group chat.
Hopefully.
And yeah, lo and behold, about 700 messages, and there were points where WhatsApp wouldn't work because there were just so many messages to load up that it didn't work half the time, but I did get through them eventually.
Eventually, 6 years later.
Yeah.
Anyway, so talking about the test race, Marcos was obviously the winner there. I say obviously. Marcos was the winner there. Fastest driver, pole, fastest lap and the win. He really did get the hat-trick. And he's currently sitting in 5th, just over a second off the lead. But notably on the super hard.
No, just the hard.
I know, but they feel. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure.
You've got me right. You've got me there, Ryan.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. The ultra super hyper. These will take about 12 laps to warm up. But you know, they will last a while, and you know, it could be interesting to see where Marcos comes into the mix, because he was the fastest driver. As his teammate Alex in the other Mercedes jumps him. Do you know what? I think these two, Alex and Marcos, they could be a dark horse. It could be the dark horses for season 4. Because Alex, we definitely saw on the group chat earlier as he skirts across the grass there. We saw on the group chat he had a very fast time in time trial. So what'd you take on that, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to bring that up that we're looking at people doing 26.8s, and there were talks of possible 26.1s.
I saw
So
that, yeah.
maybe some of the drivers are being very tactical about it and trying to aim for a time very close to it, but also an ideal setup for a long race, which probably explains why do the proposed times that people were setting. So
That
it's
sounds
very
bang
tactical
on.
approach to this.
It does. Obviously, in time trial, no tyre wear, no fuel usage, no ERS mode to consider. So you can really run flat out. Whereas talking about the race, Felix, two-time race winner in Gprl, goes fastest. It's all going on at the top. But back to my point. Obviously, the setup between time trial and race is much different, and as we are running Park Ferme, the drivers can't really change much. As we approach the last couple of minutes of the qualifying session, there's two drivers not to set a lap. Steve, who is, I believe, setting up a lap or coming in. I think he's setting up a lap. And Jana, who comes out the pits for, I believe, the first time. So he's left that quite late, but Jana was fast at the test race, and I'm not sure if you saw, but he did get caught up between a couple of cars, a couple of back markers, and unfortunately lost to Moraine and then sort of stuck with him. So I think in terms of constructors, we will have obviously I'm not belittling the Drivers' Championship, but I think constructors, we could see the closest yet in the 4 seasons of GPRL.
Yeah, that's definitely possible. Like you've got so many two driver teams that obviously all the points are going to really matter this season, and it could be a very close fight for the constructors.
Yeah, obviously, as you see, you got the Red Bulls 1 and 3. You got Yannick currently sitting P2 for Sauber, Jarno with pace, as we know. Not to set a lap yet, but Jarno obviously recently converting over to the wheel, giving him a bit of extra pace. So he could definitely be a contender as we get into the last couple of minutes for this qualifying session. Then there's the Renault of Tyler up in P4. He may, obviously Paddy currently down in P10, I'm not sure if that's a representative lap time, but I think he may be the lead, if you will, in this team. And the Mercedes, obviously they may not be the out and out fastest two drivers, but if they can continue to score consistent points, it could get them somewhere, as we saw at the Renault. They didn't take very many race wins at all. But they won the championship by 2 points, so I think it's all about consistency, and if their drivers can continue to finish 5th and 6th, if you will, with the new point system, that's something that should be brought up. Whilst we're at it, if I just grab my phone. We've got a comment from Steve. Ooh, he did get himself up into P7, so I think that would have been his fastest lap. We've got a comment just coming in from Harrison, who unfortunately wasn't able to make this race. Hope you get well soon, Harrison. But he said, forget the rest of the season, give Ryan the championship. Can't agree more, as Yannick goes fastest. So GPRL Season 4 Ryan, champion.
I mean, if I get like a commentator of the year award at the FIA prize given, then that'll be more than enough. Yeah.
Jean Tot's gonna slide GPRL officials DMs. Paddy's out the session, so not sure what's happened there. Not showing a load of pace. Hopefully he will step up for qualifying. Yannick out the session, so that would have been him just retiring from the session with his last lap. Currently watching Yana go through the final sector now. Back on the power, and it's through the final corner. What can this be for Sauber? It's P7 and P7 only. Saying that, it is only a 1.2 second gap, so the top 7 very, very close. As now we follow Tyler through the first section. Ryan, if there's anything else you want to point out, please do shout up, and we will try and get it up on the broadcast. Go on.
One point I want to make, obviously we were talking about before how a lot of drivers have changed teams. I'm looking at Steve at the moment, obviously joined Ferrari for this season. He's not had the best of starts.
He hasn't, has he?
If I'm not gonna lie, yeah, he's been really off the pace when at the start of the season, well, last season, you could really see that he was really going for
I mean,
top four.
he did make a challenge for the title, albeit a little bit. he was still in mathematical possibility come the last race, so he wasn't a million miles off. And yeah, it just seems as if he's not. Maybe it's the new caliber of drivers or the new assists. We have updated the assists, tweaked them slightly. But yeah, that a very valid point. Also, Danny, P11. I don't think we've really touched on him in the Williams through Maggots and Beckett's now. Tyler can't improve on his P3 lap time, so the best he will do is P3. Marcos goes quickest, and Alex P2. We have a Mercedes 1-2. This is looking interesting for the race. I'm currently following Felix as he goes through Cups and into Maggots and Beckett's. I believe he's backed out. He does not look like he's pushing that at all, so Felix does not look like he's going to improve on his lap time. So you say there's two contenders really for pole now, and well, that aren't currently sitting on pole. That is Marcos, and you say that's Moraine and possibly Jarno. Do you think he can get in the mix, Ryan?
Well, it's gonna be a lot of pressure on him because he knows that if he slips up just once, that's it. It'll be the end of the qualifying session. It'll be a shock result for the reigning champion. But we know what he's like on the grid. We know that he can push up the field and he can fight for the wins no matter where he starts.
I mean, especially you, Ryan. You partnered him for half a season last year. What was that like?
Oh, some qualifying sessions felt like I was a bit bullied, not gonna lie, going by he would be on the softer compound and still, or the harder compound and still be half a second faster than me. So yeah, it was a lot like in terms, the team favourite would have been Moraine in my opinion.
Goes P6. Sorry to cut you off there, Ryan, but he can't improve. Meanwhile, Raul's got himself up to P7. Jarno P8 can't improve. So we were saying Mercedes maybe not the fastest two drivers, but they've gone and back to 1-2. So that is very impressive. And we're going to see the gaps in just a moment, but you know, this could be a 6-horse race. And that's not something you say very often in F1.
Yeah, true. Like I'm when I was having a quick glance at the leaderboards, it looks like it's just a second between the top 7 drivers. So
the top 7 separated by 6/10.
Steve on the mediums though, so that is an interesting thing to point out. I
think Karen from the back could get in the mix of maybe the top 7, you'd say, because Karen has seen he wasn't quite sort of Marcos and Moraine fast in the test race, but he was definitely there or thereabouts. And yeah, but the likes of Hugo, Danny, Paddy, and Karen will all get a choice of fresh tyres, so you know, we could see them possibly cause problems, maybe in the nicest possible way for the top 7. But yeah, that gap is very small, and it's all looking good for the race. So, obviously, I think one thing that should be pointed out before, what I've definitely noticed this year is there seems to be a lot more teamwork in the teams, if that makes sense. Like, because when I was speaking to the drivers about choosing their teams at the end of season 3, I had a lot more, oh, can I go with him? If that makes sense. For example, Marcos and Alex, they requested to be in a team together, and Raul and Steve also wanted to be in a team together. So that just really illustrates that maybe that could give those teams the edge because of how well the two drivers get on. Good 5 red lights, no formation lap. It's lights out and away we go. I believe it is Marcos away from pole position. Can Alex challenge him into turn 1? He's going to give him a lot of room down the inside. It's Marcos round the outside as that's Yannick getting in the mix up into P2 as it's Alex down to P3. Felix down the inside. Can he make that work? I don't think he can. We've got cars all over the place as it's Felix round the outside of Alex there. Hugo is out the session. Moraine struggling down into P8. Meanwhile, we watch Felix and Alex side by side down the straight, as it's going to look to be Alex. If he can make a move down the inside of Brooklands, he can. He's going to have the inside line. He'll force Felix out, and that's a good defensive move from Felix. Meanwhile, Moraine holding P7. Squad maintains the lead. It's 7 tenths back to Yannick, followed by Alex, Felix. Then it's Tyler keeping the two of them honest, followed by Raul, who's got up into P6. Moraine down in P7. Then it's Yanni, Ugaitz, Steve. Meanwhile, someone's off, I believe. Oh, that is
Duke,
Tyler off through Maggots, through Chapel, I believe that is. As other than that, the order stays unaffected. Ryan, talk us through that very chaotic start.
Well, there was a lot of good starts, but there was a lot of bit surprising starts. For example, Moraine, who dropped a few positions at the beginning, which a little bit of a surprise, considering his experience. I would have thought that he would have managed to get into easily 5th or 4th at the beginning. But you win some, you lose some.
And obviously we do know the pace of Moraine. He will. it's likely that he keeps these guys on. Meanwhile, looking further back, this is Ugaitz and Steve, the Toro Rosso. Down the inside, can't make it work, unfortunately. Meanwhile, Karim's got himself up into P10, exactly what we were talking about. Paddy struggling on those hard tyres, as Marcos building a gap at the front of the race back to the Sauber of Yannick, who's had a very successful start, followed by Alex. Bear in mind, we are running strict corner cutting, so drivers will have to be careful on the exit of Cops. As this is Alex following Yannick through Maggots and Beckett's. And one thing that should be pointed out is last time in the test race it was only a 50% race, so we don't know the full race pace of some of these guys. Of course, Marcos did have it in a 17 lap race, but whether he'll be able to hold it together for a race that is effectively double the distance is yet to be seen. As Alex closing back up to Yannick. And DRS is enabled. Marcus, another fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Mercedes looking strong at the minute, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, Marcos, he's had an incredible start so far. He's already eked out about 2.5 seconds to second place, so he's definitely going to be conserving the tyres as much as he can, because he's got a comfortable lead at the moment, as he got a little bit oversteer there, I believe. But it'll be interesting to see how well he manages the tyres for the rest of the race. Because if he can manage the tyres really well, he could soar into the distance at the pit stops.
He could. Because meanwhile, we're on board with Felix, 2 times race winner in Gprl, getting very slidey there with the rear end. So that does suggest that the rear tyres are overheating. Obviously, in this league, we do run surface and carcass temperatures, I believe it is called. So yeah, that's something for the drivers to manage. That's Alex nearly.
Well, if you're on the softs, you'd probably want to go on to maybe another set of softs and then mediums for the end, or switch it around. I think the hard tires would be a really bad option because they're not really much use around this track. So I think it would be either 2 sets of softs to medium or soft, medium, soft.
Of course, and then you'll always have the people really trying to stretch it out. Which could be interesting. That's Alex going quite wide. Alex using all the track limits and a little bit more at the minute. And for those of you just joining us, when I say Alex, I'm not commentating about myself. There is the Spanish Alex in the Mercedes as Yannick does find himself slightly wide through turn number 3. That's going to put Alex right onto the back of him. And whether he'll be able to make a move or not, we will see soon. Alex does pull out to the inside, and down the inside of Brooklands he goes. Yannick's going to be around the outside, so if he can hang it, he'll have the inside through the long right-hander. If he can keep it on the inside, that's what he does. He gets the traction planted, and I believe he's just losing out slightly to Alex, but Alex does have the outside line, which will not benefit him. Round Cops, it's side by side through Cops, and round the outside goes Alex. That's an incredible effort, and Yannick's been taken out. I believe he got hit there by Felix, as Raul is going to make his way around the outside of Maggots. So Raul taking great advantage of that up into P3. It's a Mercedes 1-2 at the expense of Yannick. In the wall, that is a shame. I believe he's lost a lot of front wing lost there. And Ryan, did you see that incident? And if you did, can you bit of insight?
I just caught the end of it. I just caught Yannick spinning around, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be a few stern words at the end of the race.
I can imagine.
After that one, there's going to be a lot of arguments about that one, because obviously Yannick's not going to be the happiest.
Of course, running up in a podium place.
As he's taken quite a big loss out of that.
Felix is looking down the inside of turn 1. That was very risky from the Red Bull driver. Now it's Red Bull squirming. Are we going to get any multi-map 2-1 orders? Back on track very aggressively there. I believe